Hey guys, what's going on today? Welcome back to the channel. Now chapter 73 has just dropped and it is a text heavy chapter. Now I've seen some people saying this chapter was not needed, etc, but it was needed. This chapter finally brought all the information to light since all the characters were kept in the dark these past few chapters and no one knew anything. This chapter summarized all the info and now everybody has finally caught up. Now getting into the manga itself, I am a bit disappointed that the English version cleaned up the cover page. In the Japanese one, it has extra text alongside it which translated to English says, "I want to help him more," which is a callback to chapter 69 when Sarada said she wanted to be more helpful to Boruto. They removed it completely in the English version. I have no idea as to why, maybe it was easier to edit, but even then that shouldn't have mattered as chapter 28 is similar and they even kept the extra wording and even translated it. So I was a bit disappointed on why they changed it. But with Sarada being on the cover page, I know she is up for something big in the next few chapters. When reading this chapter, I noticed Sarada was more of the focus on certain panels, which I'll explain as I go on. Now starting off with the juiciest things of this chapter. This chapter resumes right after chapter 72 and we see Team 7 going into the Hokage's office. Now Sarada here mentions that Team 7 has been out of action for so long, and then Boruto mentions that Kawaki will be with us this time and this is the launch of new Team 7. This is hinting us that Kawaki didn't go on a mission with Team 7 after the Funato arc, hence why Boruto says that this is a new mission with new Team 7 and not just old Team 7. This also implies that Team 7 has been out of commission before the events of chapter 58. This also is telling us that the anime gives us their final mission before chapter 58, and that mission includes Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki, and it revolves around Sarada's third tomo. Once the third tomo arc is done, Team 7 goes out of commission and the code arc begins. But I think the reason they go out of commission after that arc is because of Boruto and him losing control, as Shikamaru does call Boruto a bomb that can lose control, and in this panel it focuses on Sarada's face when he said it. So it could be hinting that Boruto loses control and Sarada saved him, thus awakening that third tomo in that arc that we're gonna see before the code arc. Now in the next panel, Boruto enters the room and he sees Kawaki. Boruto says this is the first time they've met since Kawaki killed him. Kawaki says, "I can't believe you're alive, what a shock." What bothers me here is that Kawaki is so casual about it. He doesn't look surprised but rather cold-hearted. To me it looks like Kawaki is just putting on a front and not trying to show his feelings. I say this because of Sumire's reaction. She looks at Kawaki and recalls the moment when Kawaki said, "You're not going to condemn me for killing Boruto," to Naruto. She says what Kawaki is really thinking and that he doesn't want to show it. She sees the tension within Kawaki, hence she is looking at him again. Sumire then quickly diffuses the tension by saying to Boruto, "You look well," and does a small blush. But what throws me off is the sweat mark with the blush. She does this awkwardly as to throw off the moment, hence why we see Kawaki then look at Boruto again, but this time with Sarada and Sumire in the panel. So Sumire acted as Kawaki's true feelings when she said, "You look well," and I'm relieved. She knew Kawaki wouldn't say it, so she had to say it on his behalf. Now one thing to add here is Sarada and Sumire. This is the first time Sarada and Sumire have met since chapter 18 in the manga only. Thus why Sarada says, "Long time no see." I think we might get to see some pages of Sumire and Sarada in the next chapter, and they might even have some girl talk. And I think the same question from chapter 19 is going to be brought up again. Now some of the greasy stuff. Shikamaru starts off with Boruto and he says that he's a danger to the village because of Momoshiki taking control of him. Shikamaru then moves on to Kawaki and this is where it gets interesting. Shikamaru tries to softly say Kawaki's in danger and they can't control him. Sumire looks at Kawaki because she knows Shikamaru is about to say something that is not going to be nice. Kawaki then tells Shikamaru to come on and say what he wants to say. Sarada tells him not to get defensive as Shikamaru is trying to tell him the hard truth. Now notice the difference between Sarada and Sumire towards Kawaki here. Sumire notices that Shikamaru is about to say something hurtful to Kawaki while Sarada is trying to say that he's being truthful. So judging by this, you can see the closeness between Sumire and Kawaki and Sumire and Sarada. Shikamaru then tells them that Code got his limbers removed, but they don't know the circumstances on how. Now looking at Sarada here, Sarada is a bit shocked, and I think that is because she is worried that Code is now going to come after Boruto at full force. And I'm pretty sure Mitsuki and Sarada think Code killed Boruto, since no one except Sumire from them knows that Kawaki actually killed him. So Mitsuki and Sarada are more worried that he's in danger again if Code decides to strike. Now this right here, this has been the talk since chapter 55-56. Code without his limbers is stronger than Jigen. Every power scaler, including me, has been using this reference and now Shikamaru solves it. Shikamaru says Code is stronger than Jigen with his limbers off, and Jigen was someone both Naruto and Sasuke took to defeat. He then says Code isn't as strong as Ishiki when he was revived. Thus, Code with his limbers off is weaker than Ishiki. Thus is weaker than Baryon mode Naruto. Thus is weaker than Kawaki, who is powered with Ishiki. Thus, Code is weaker than Boryushiki, who rivaled Ishiki's powers in Kawaki. Now you see the problem with us power scalers. Now Shikamaru has confirmed it, so it is now canon that Code is weaker than Ishiki but stronger than Jigen. So now we know where to scale these mans. Now before I get on with this chapter, this one image right here threw me off. Now looking closely at this image, you see Sarada and Boruto together in this one panel. Now look at Sarada's headband. That shit got a slash in it. Bro, this confirms Sarada has gone rogue, bro. She's gone rogue. Alright, on serious talk though, this is either an error in the drawing or Ikimoto is actually hinting that Sarada is gonna go rogue with Boruto later so that she doesn't fall for Eida's spell. It's just a thought, you know. It could have been a drawing error, but at the same time, it looks way too detailed to be a drawing error. This is Ikimoto we're talking about, and it could be a foreshadow for all we know. Alrighty, now back to the good stuff. Shikamaru says Sarada is wrong, and this focuses around Eida, the woman who captures everyone and puts them under her spell. Shikamaru then says her powers don't work on Otsutsuki's, and that these two bombs can fight against her. Again, we see a panel of Sumire. Though her focus isn't clear, but she's again worried about both Boruto and Kawaki. Shikamaru then explains what happened between Code and Eida and how Eida is heading over to the village based on his idea to let her live here. He explains how Eida can affect everyone, and that if she wanted to, she could take control of the world. Now looking at Boruto's reaction here, this guy is shocked, especially by the big gulp noise he makes. Sarada then asks, what can we do? And Shikamaru says to Team 7 with Sumire, they have to cohabitate. Konohamaru then says this won't be a boarding house, but rather only Kawaki and Boruto will be living with Eida. Now when Shikamaru said that, you notice Sarada's reaction. It has an exclamation mark. She is shocked that Boruto will be living with this other girl. Even the sweat mark in her eyes. Notice the eyes carefully along with the eyebrows. It has that worried look that someone will take control of Boruto. Sarada is really worried here. But then Sarada puts her feelings aside and notices that this mission is more of a surveillance mission rather than Boruto actually living with her. Though I do feel that she is somewhat bothered by what Shikamaru said, because her reaction wasn't that normal. Shikamaru then explains that this mission is only for Team 7 as Boruto and Kawaki won't fall for Eida's spell and that any other person will start doing things for her unexpectedly. Mitsuki then says, isn't it a bit too forceful? Shikamaru says Eida will be game for it, as Shikamaru finally reveals that Eida has a crush on Kawaki and wants to experience love. Boruto is more surprised than Mitsuki and Sarada. And then the panel cuts out to Eida, who is blushing really hard, and then you have a model there saying, yo, what is going on? You know, like, what are these guys talking about? And then we see this little shit wake up by Eida's heartbeat. Oof, just want someone to knock this little bugger out, bro. Like, he pisses me off. Just drop kick his ass right now. But back to the main stuff. Shikamaru then says Kawaki's the only reason she's really coming to the village. Boruto then pops the question on why she wants to go after Kawaki if her abilities work on anyone who crushes on her. This right here goes two ways for Boruto. One is that Boruto is dense, where he still doesn't understand love. Two is that he understands liking someone but is curious on why Eida specifically decides to go with Kawaki. I am more of option 2, even though Boruto still doesn't know how the female mind works, hence why we have Sumire explain it. It just goes to show you that the female counterparts fall in love first, then the male ones. The Naruto series was like this too. But with Sumire explaining it, she understands Eida, she knows what Eida wants, and that is a regular romance. She wants to experience love without people falling for her through her abilities. Now notice the panel of Eida. If you look, she isn't blushing or anything. She knows Sumire hit it on the spot. Now notice Mitsuki here. I think he knows what Sumire is talking about when she says, not that I know for sure. It's like Mitsuki is thinking she does know for sure, but she's trying to play it off that she doesn't know what romance is. Kawaki then says it is illogical and that she is stupid. This just goes to show that Kawaki doesn't understand the female intuition like Boruto. I guess it's the way the authors made it. So going by this, I don't think Kawaki has experienced love yet and will probably experience it in the time skip. But going off this panel again, I think Kawaki won't fall for Eida, as he calls this type of romance illogical, as it has no meaning to it. Shikamaru then tells Kawaki not to call her bad names as she is watching us. He then tells that she can see everything going on without her being present here. Shikamaru then says it will be better for us to get along with Eida, as she can tell them where Code is hiding and that she can get rid of Code if she tells him his coordinates. Konohamaru then tells Boruto that his job is to watch between Eida and Kawaki, as he will be the mediator. Now Boruto's face here gets me, and it looks really similar to Anya's from Spy X Family. So then Konohamaru tells Sarada and Mitsuki that they will be watching from afar together with him. Shikamaru says their job is to defuse any situation that breaks out, and also if Boruto runs amok again, then they will have to stop him. When Shikamaru said that, Sarada's face turned worried. It's possible what Sasuke said to her in episode 225 comes true, and that is if Boruto turns, she must take him down. So we know Mitsuki, Sarada, and Konohamaru's job is to actually watch Boruto rather than Eida and Kawaki, because I think Shikamaru knows Kawaki can handle Eida on his own, but Boruto transformed is another story and he needs the help from these three people to bring him back. Shikamaru then warns them saying, we don't know how much of Eida's influence will affect you. So what I'm thinking is Team 7 won't be that affected by Eida's powers because they're gonna have different feelings. And based on what Amato said a few chapters ago, saying that Eida's powers work differently on each person, it might work differently with Team 7. Because take Shikamaru for example. Shikamaru loves Temari, but he didn't fall in love with Eida. He became her captive, he only listened to her, but he didn't love her. He didn't have the same feelings like Code did. So I think her powers vary on each person. And if that person's heart's already been captured, then her powers are less effective. Though for Mitsuki, I'm not sure what it is, but for Sarada, I think she has Boruto in her heart, and Eida's powers won't work that effectively on Sarada. But I do think Konohamaru will fall in love with her, because that guy is kind of weak though, I'll admit, alright? So with her powers taking control of people, I still believe her powers are a virus, and that Mitsuki will possibly make a protection against it like he did with Boro. So then the panels cut to Sasuke and Naruto, and what I was saying before is true. Boruto is to be watched by the 3 while Eida is watched by Kawaki. Sasuke confirms this again, saying that Boruto is a target of the monitoring too. Naruto says Sasuke thought like Shikamaru by giving them this mission and giving them responsibilities. He put them under control so that they don't do anything reckless. So Sasuke was planning all of this to keep Boruto safe, and that was him being worried about Boruto. So then in the final panels, Shikamaru says if you can't give orders, you will need to play by the ears, and that is when Momoshiki appears between Boruto and Sarada. Kawaki notices it, but then Momoshiki disappears. What I think this panel is trying to tell us is that there will be a time when Team 7 will have to play it by the ear, and when that moment does come, that is when Momoshiki makes his play. He will see that no one is listening, so he'll try to make a deal with Eida without anyone knowing. Hence, that is why Momoshiki appears when Shikamaru says play it by the ear. Another meaning could be that when they play it by the ear, it will just be Team 7 alone, and that is when Boruto's gonna lose it all. Momoshiki appearing is telling us the foreshadow of Boruto losing it all is about to happen. So that can explain why Sasuke sensed the same feelings as back then when Momoshiki first gave Boruto the warning that his blue eyes will take everything away from him. Momoshiki also appearing could be a final warning of the time that is getting closer that Momoshiki will live his life in Boruto. He said that Boruto will be so scared that he will hide in the back of his mind, and that Momoshiki will live the life of Boruto. So either Momoshiki will transform and kill his teammates and possibly kill Konohamaru, thus causing Boruto to escape in the back of his mind, and Momoshiki lives out his days as Boruto. And that is why Momoshiki appeared when Shikamaru says you're gonna have to play it by the ear. He knows that the time that Team 7's alone, it's all going down for Boruto. Now the last thing I want to add here is the last panel. Why does Sasuke feel the same presence as back then? We know Momoshiki is getting closer to Boruto, but why is Sasuke able to sense that same feeling? His Rinnegan is gone, so he shouldn't be able to sense it. But I think 2 scenarios apply here. One is that Sasuke got a new eye, or it's possible that he still has his Rinnegan abilities without the eye being present. This was the case with Madara too. He got to the point where he can use certain abilities without his eyes. So Sasuke might not have his eyes anymore, but he still has his powers. Or that he got a new eye, but it hasn't been revealed yet. 2, being that Sasuke is about to die. Momoshiki said that Boruto's blue eyes will take everything away from him, and only Sasuke saw that. So it could be implying that Boruto's blue eyes will take Sasuke away from him, thus scarring Boruto and Boruto disappearing in his mind. Sasuke feeling the same feeling means his death is near. Now that was it for chapter 73. Let's get on to the predictions. Now I think Eida will get Boruto kicked out of the village. I think her plan will be that she wants to be with Kawaki and wants to be alone with him. Boruto is the only other person in her way, so she will try to turn everybody against Boruto, which causes him to go rogue. In the sense that she will turn all his friends, families, everybody in the village against Boruto, and he has no choice but to leave the village. So Boruto may go rogue because of Eida. Now the second prediction. I think Momoshiki is going to make a plan with Eida. Momoshiki's gonna tell Eida to give him the location of the Tent Hills, and in return he will make Boruto leave the village. Momoshiki might also tell Eida that I want you to kick Boruto out of the village so that you can be alone with Kawaki, and Eida might agree to that because she knows Boruto is in the way between her and Kawaki. So when Momoshiki takes control of Boruto's body at a moment that no one's listening and that no one's watching, he'll secretly make a plan with Eida. And what this plan is gonna involve is the death of Konohamaru. Momoshiki in Boruto's body is gonna kill Konohamaru, thus branding him a rogue ninja because everyone will see that he's a true danger to the village. And at that moment, Boruto in his mind will see everything that Momoshiki is doing. And Boruto seeing that Momoshiki and Eida were plotting, he's gonna want revenge. So at that moment when Boruto kills Konohamaru, he fights Sarada and Mitsuki. Both of them lose to Boruto. Boruto might leave the village after he regains control of his conscience. And once he does leave the village, he will go to Code, and when he talks to Code, he'll tell Code, I'll give you Eida and you help me in return. And Code will agree, and Code will teach him on how to control his karma. And thus Boruto we see in episode 1 chapter 1 is actually evil Boruto who wants revenge. And this is it for my chapter 73 in-depth review. I'm gonna make some theories in another video. So thanks for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos to come.